Is patriotism a bad thing? I don't think so. And this is why. I'm going to get into that today. I'm Laoch, and this is Laoch When the Hammer Drops. So, just to get into a little story here before we get into everything. The reason why I'm even bringing this episode up and asking that, and asking the questions and saying that it's not a bad thing is because, I was sitting there, my birthday was just this past week, and I had a buddy or a friend of mine, an acquaintance, whatever you want to call it. He posted on my Facebook wall, my personal wall, wishing me a happy birthday. He said, "Happy birthday to a true patriot." And I was kind of thrown back by it because my vision of a patriot is our men and women in the military. That is the epitome of a patriot to me. They gave up everything to defend the Constitution, defend our rights, defend our freedoms at all costs. That is a patriot. But then I had to sit back, and my wife, she's like, I told her about this, and she's like, well, you kind of are. She's like, because the things that you talk about, the things that you bring to the people, that in its own way is being a patriot. And I kind of sat back, and you know what? I'm like, holy shit, maybe I am. Maybe this is my form of patriotism, is by getting the information and doing the research and getting it out to you, the listeners, so you're informed, because damn well you're not going to hear any of this stuff on mainstream media. You're not going to hear any of this stuff coming from Joe Biden's mouth. You're not going to hear it anywhere else but here, because I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm probably the only podcast that does this kind of platform, and I'm not sponsored. And I will never be sponsored. And I will never take anybody's money to do this, because I have a full-time job. This is what I want to do to bring the information to you, the listener, so you can be informed of everything that's happening. And that's what this episode is going to be about today. I'm going to inform you on some of the stuff that's going on that, transpired this past Monday up in North Dakota. I posted an article and a little thing up on all my social media platforms. So I'm going to get into that as well, because, if it was roles were reversed, it would definitely be a different outcome. And I got to give kudos to Fox, of all news agencies, because they are the only ones that are reporting it. And it blows my mind that they're the only news agency to actually report it. But if roles were reversed, every news agency would report it. Trust me. But before we get into that, being a patriot is, I will defend my Constitution, my flag, my home against any foreign invader or domestic invader. I don't care. I'll tell you what, because with Biden weaponizing every agency that he can to go against his political foes, it's only a matter of time before, he goes after everybody. I mean, he has declared war essentially on millions of people because we are considered MAGA. We're considered Republicans. We're whatever. We're against his narrative, because we want a great America. We want to be great again. We don't want this bullshit crap that he's given us, that him and the rest of the Democrats are. And the messed up thing is, I know midterms are coming, and I say it in a lot of my shows, and it's because it's fucking important. You need to get the fuck out there and vote. You need this midterm election is by far one of the most important ones that you can do and vote on. And I know there's people out there like, oh, I don't want to vote. My vote doesn't matter. The fuck it doesn't. Because you know what? Guess what? If you don't vote, you're going to end up voting anyways, whether you know it or not. That's how that kind of shit happens. I mean, so before I go off on a complete tangent on that, it's just, it's aggravating to see, because what is happening, and this happened on Monday, okay? So Monday, there was, and like I said, there's only one news agency reporting this, and that's Fox. An 18-year-old kid got ran over by a 41-year-old man, chased down by him as well, and ran over because they had a political disagreement. I mean, that's fucked up. And this guy, 41-year-old guy, he admitted that he ran him over. And you know what's even more messed up is the fact that this kid, as he was running, he was calling his mother. He was calling his mom for help. Because this 41-year-old thought this guy was a radical Republican because of, Joe Biden. Remember that speech he gave when it looked like a scene from Adolf Hitler addressing the rest of the Nazis? Yeah. So because he said that he was, he felt threatened because he was a radical Republican and he was an extremist and this and that, and then he ran him over. He was in court, and I heard the audio on it, and I'm not going to share the audio on here because I'm not going to give this guy, and that's why I'm not even saying his name, because I'm not giving him the time of day of the airwaves on my end, because he doesn't deserve it. He's a monster. He's an animal. He deserves to be locked up. His main concern was, when he went to court, was, well, I have a family and I have a job and a house that I can't put to the side and this and that. And like, he did the world a favor because he killed this kid because he considered this kid an extremist and thought this kid was going to come back for him. The kid's running from you. What makes you think he's going to come back for you? Seriously. I mean, come on. If he is running away and you're just chasing him down, now, I mean, that's premeditated. That's first degree murder right there. I mean, you can't, there's no two ways about that. But the most fucked up thing about this whole thing is if the roles were reversed and it was a Biden supporter and a Republican did that to a Biden supporter, I guarantee you every news agency and news outlet, mainstream media would be reporting it. But because it was a 18-year-old Republican kid, I mean, if you think about it, an 18-year-old kid lost his life because of his political stance. And if you go back to Joe's speech, where he's basically inciting violence against anybody that's MAGA, anybody that's a Republican, essentially. He's inciting violence, and that's exactly what just happened. So my question is why isn't Joe Biden and the rest of them being held liable for this? Because it was his words, him deeming millions of Americans enemies of the state because we're not on your political agenda. We don't believe in your political bullshit. So we're enemies of the state. So that means what, we can lose our lives because we are Republican? Or is it because we're red and you're blue? Because let's get one thing straight real quick. It's not racism anymore of color like black, white, Asian, all that stuff. It's who you align yourself politically. That's what's going on now. It's either you're red or you're blue. And if you're red, the blue's going to hate you and the blue's going to do whatever they have to. And it's okay because I don't know if you guys see this. Okay. Sit back and take a look. Look at all the violence, and they try to blame it on the Republicans. Like, Republicans are extremists here. You had Antifa, you had Black Lives Matter, You had all these organizations back in 2020 that burnt down cities, killed people, robbed people. Okay. But now you got this. But see, that's okay. But now they're trying to basically flip it and say that that's all Republicans, when we know that that's not true. I'm conservative. If I have to pick a political party, I'm a conservative. I'm a Republican. I'm not out there destroying buildings and burning places down and inciting violence or anything like that. Why? I don't have to. Because the Democrats do a damn good job at it themselves. And that's what it is. But see, they don't want you to believe that, because especially coming into the midterms, they want you to take the focus off of what is happening. Let's take a real quick look here. What is happening is you have the highest inflation in 40 years, and Joe Biden, he did an interview with 60 Minutes, and he was trying to, this fucking idiot was like, yeah, it went up an inch. Well, we're not talking inches here, man. We're talking like percentages. So it went up 0.1, 0.2%. That's a lot. Okay. We're at 8.3%. Well, it was at 8.2% for a while. Then it went up to 8.3 and then 8.1. It's like, dude, are you that fucking mental? I think he is. That's just me. I don't think he's not fit to be president. But, this is their way of, trying to roll it out to you, the American people, or to all of us. Like let's dumb it down so people will, be like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. Let's just, that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to dumb it down so people just like, oh, well, that doesn't sound too bad. Folks, it is. Because I guarantee you in the next 6 to 12 months, it's going to get a lot worse here because of what's going on. And that's just the way it is. I know this was supposed to be more about patriotism and all that stuff, and I'm going to get into that a little bit, but this is stuff that you need to know, especially coming into the midterms. They're trying to pull a fast one because there's no other way for them to win. So this is exactly what they're doing. They're pulling a fast one by, the old smoke and mirror kind of thing, and don't fall for it, and so I'll get back to the whole patriotism now. Basically, if you love this country, you love that flag, and you believe in the Constitution, you're a patriot. If you disagree with what's going on with Ukraine, the inflation, gas prices, the amounts of money that we're spending at the grocery store, then it's pretty damn sure that you're a patriot. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm damn proud of where I'm at today, being able to do this for fun and bring this to you, because there's other, and I know that there's other podcasts just like this. Okay. But are they going to be this straight up with you? Or are they going to kind of sugarcoat it? So in closing here, this is kind of a shorter episode, but in closing, what's going on today in America is essentially Joe Biden telling you to choose a side, to choose if you're going to be on his side and the side of, as like many people say, evil, essentially, or if you're going to be on the side of wanting to do whatever you have to make America great once again, then that's where it's at. It's the The guy that said that he was going to be the unifier of people is essentially the divider of people. And that's going to continue for as long as he's in office and as long as the Democrats have control. This is what we're going to see day in and day out. It's okay to fly an American flag and be proud of it. It's okay to have it hanging out your house. It's okay to love the Constitution. It's okay to love this country. It is. It truly is. It's okay to know history so we don't repeat it. Because we know that they're trying to take that history away and not teach our kids all of that in schools, because this way the next generation is not going to know. And that just makes it easier for socialism and communism to come in. And that's what they're trying to do, because that's what they want. Don't let it. Being a patriot is teaching your kids right from wrong, teaching your kids the truth about this country and its history and where and why we are where we're at today, and not hiding that and not dumbing it down for them. Be 150% open and honest with your kids, with the younger generation, so they know, so they don't fall for the bullshit. So this great country doesn't go to shit, because that's what they want. And the more people continue doing what they're doing, that's what they're going to get. So with that, that's where I'm going to end it. I hope you enjoyed this. Definitely don't forget, and I'll have the links below, like, subscribe, follow me on all the platforms. If you go to the website, sign up for the email list. So then this way, if for some reason I'm off those platforms, I can send out email blasts of upcoming shows, stuff like that. When eventually here, we're going to have some interviews going. So this way you're informed first. And give me a review, 5 stars for the podcast, so that it's going to help me in the algorithms to get me up on the charts. All the links will be provided down below. Folks, you guys have a good one, and be good to each other.